Okay, boys, we are on live. Jigari, welcome. Elon, welcome. We also got Hananel Izgelov. You know, I didn't realize that today is Labor Day.
That's why I called you, Rabbi, to make sure you're not at the beach or something like that. You know,
Right,
I don't know.
Correct.
I had to confirm that this is still going to be on today.
Somebody called me. Somebody said, Rabbi, are we learning later? I said, what kind of question is that? Are you serious? He never responded. I didn't chap until afterwards. My wife told me that it's actually Labor Day. Anyway, you got to take advantage of the day and make it the most, make the most of it.
Agreed.
Anyway, Rabotai, we have today a very powerful piece. The question is going to be like this. How can you have a family which keeps Shabbat? Ilya, welcome. You have a family which keeps Shabbat.
Hi, Rabbi.
How are you? You have a family which keeps Shabbat. They do mitzvot. The children learn Torah, and still they don't have Hashem in their lives. How's that possible? Meaning Hashem says, I want nothing to do with this family. How can you have a family which is religious, and their children are religious, and still Hashem says, thank God I'm not part of this family?
Hold on, they're legit religious, or they're just
legit
like
religious, 100%, black and white,
not
beer
forced,
payot.
not forced.
Nah, chas v'shalom, nobody's forced. Nah, nobody.
And
You can't
Hashem
force
is not
nobody
happy
to
with
do.
them.
Hashem says, thank
they
God
got
I'm
no
not
Hashem
part
in
of
their
this
life?
family. Huh?
And they have no Hashem in their life?
No, they could have Hashem in their life, but Hashem says, thank God I'm not part of their life.
Meaning they have no, he is not in their Shekhinah?
The Shekhinah does not rest amongst that family.
What could it be?
Yeah. How could it be? Not what could it be. How could that be?
Characteristic trait or something?
Say it again?
You're looking for a characteristic trait?
No. Jen, I'm asking a simple question. How could it be that the Shekhinah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, does not rest on a religious family where they think they're doing everything right, and still Hashem says, I want nothing to do with these kind of people?
Is it something to do with Nida?
No. Actually, I was learning to halachot nida, and I came across a piece. Rav David Yosef, also the Shulchan Aruch, in your day brings down over there. A lot of people think that when their wives stop seeing blood, they're not obligated to go to the mikveh, and they sleep with them. Little do they know, as long as they don't, they don't do the internal checking, and they don't go to the mikveh, even 30 years. That means the husband and the wife been violating the prohibition of nida, and he and she is chayav karet. Even if she stopped bleeding for 20 years now, but if she didn't go to the mikveh after counting 7 clean days, every time they're together, they're doing severe sins.
You're talking about after she hit menopause.
Either after she hit menopause, correct. Or sometimes a woman can see blood and then she becomes pregnant and she doesn't go to the mikveh, thinking she doesn't have to go to the mikveh. Also, husband thinking I'm a tzaddik. Same thing, you could have over the karet also. But that's not the case. No, you got it. That's not the case.
I can't think of what else.
It's a very prevalent.
So that's the third contestant.
Huh? I didn't hear you. Say it again.
You got one more, 2 more. That's them.
Who? They're probably chilling right now. Don't bother them.
Who?
He said, ask them, ask Hananel and Ilya. Now, all I'm trying to tell you right now is that it's very common amongst us today, and it's a very common, especially, or unfortunately, Avi, welcome, or Israel, welcome, or unfortunately, by the religious people. I mean, it's very common by everyone, but it's more by the religious people. Because we have to know better. What could it be? Go ahead, Jigarik. You want to say the question over, Jigarik?
Yeah, for sure.
You mean George Clooney?
No, don't call George Clooney. Got nothing on Jigarik. No, don't say that.
Yeah, that's
First of all, he's an anti-Semite. He doesn't like Jews.
actually, honestly, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So no, boys, the question at hand right now is a religious family keeping Shabbat, the whole nine. What can they do or Rabbi, maybe what can they not do?
No, okay.
Where God says, I don't want to be with this family, regardless of the fact that they are religious, they keep Shabbat, the whole nine.
Everything,
Hat,
they do everything right. They do everything right.
Everything. They do everything right.
They go, they eat kosher. They go, she go to the mikvah. He learns Torah. The children sit and learn in yeshiva. But still Hashem says, thank God I'm not in this family. You never, when I tell you the answer, you're never going to believe it. It's halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. Huh? You guys
I want to hear it.
Try one more time. Try one more time. Use your head.
Izzy,
I told you, it's very common.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I need to get filled in on what we're talking. I just came in.
This is it. This is the question.
So all I'm saying is, how can you have a religious family with religious children and God says, thank God I am not part of that family? How could that be?
God says that, thank God I'm not a part of that family.
Yeah.
If the family's religious, everybody's religious.
Yeah.
God says I'm not part of that. I'm glad I'm not part of the family.
God says I'm glad I'm not part of that family. Correct.
I called out. I guessed one thing. They don't follow the laws of Nidah.
No, they follow the laws of Nidah. For not following the laws of Nidah, Hashem is not going to say I'm not part of your family. Listen, you got to work on it. Do teshuvah. But this over here is very severe. It's very serious. It's very serious.
People who have harbor hatred or negative.
No,
bad kind.
No, I mean, no, not necessarily. No, again, Elon, it's a family thing.
It could be a family disease, bro.
No.
No, sometimes in the family they see the same thing being played out. You don't get cheap people from rich people.
What's up?
Because we're not in
it's shown in the family. So sometimes like a bad quality, a bad negative thing.
Yeah, but for that, Hashem doesn't have to say, I don't want to be part of your family. Come on.
Because we're in exile?
No.
Or it doesn't, no? I don't know. This is a very tough...
it's not tough. I told you it's very common and you see it much too often nowadays. You do see it.
Here we go.
Yeah, you guys want to hear the answer?
Hit us, Rabbi. Hit us.
Rabotai, the halachot in your day, in Hilchot Kibud Av Ve'em. Listen to this very carefully. In the laws of honoring one's mother and father in Simon Reish Mem, that's 240. The Torah writes, also is brought down in the Shulchan Aruch later on. I'm going to read it in Hebrew and I'm going to read it to you in English. I just want you guys to listen to the language. Mitzvat aseh sheyichabed adam aviv v'imo v'yir'am mipanehem. There is a positive commandment from the Torah that a person has to honor his mother and his father and he has to fear them. Rabotai, how many children you see today that honor their mother and their father and they fear them? Very little. Today, children almost have no respect whatsoever for parents. Unfortunately, not everyone, but you do have a lot of them.
That's for all the people on the left, Rabbi. No, it's a very high population. He's 100%.
Why the left? No, you have.
I know this guy's going into
I'm
politics.
speaking about Jews. Watch this. Let me read the halacha. Watch this. וצריך להיזהר מאוד בכבודם ובמאורם. A person has to be very careful. If you look throughout the Shulchan Aruch in Even HaEzer, when it comes to halachot of looking at staying away from other women, not looking at them, the Shulchan Aruch uses the language me'od, very, very much. You have to stay away from women. Over here, when it comes to parents, he also says me'od. You have to be very careful with their honor, and you have to have awe of them. Why? Listen to this. Here we go. Shehukash kevodam lechavod hamakom. Hashem says their honor is in comparison to my honor. If you honor your parents, you honor me. Hashem says. But if you don't honor your parents, you don't honor me. So that's what he's telling over here. Shehukash kevodam lechavod hamakom. He says we compare the honor of our parents to the honor of Hashem. Go ahead.
No, it's back noise.
Okay.
Background noise.
And then also by the fear, the same thing, we compare Hashem, the honor that we have to have for Hashem, the fear that we have to have for the parents, also we compare it to Hashem. Now look what he says. And the rabbis of blessed memory said, Gimel shitufim yesh be'adam. There are three partners that a person has. HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'aviv v'imo. Leo, welcome. Hashem, his mother and his father. Here we go, listen to this. Bizman she'adam mechabed et aviv ve'et imo. At the time when a person honors his father and his mother, Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, Ma'ale ani alehem ki'ilu darti b'nehem u'v'kibuduni. Hashem says, I write on that child, it's as if I was amongst them and they honored me. Elon, did you hear what I just said? But if you have a child, go backwards. If you have a child that sits and learns Torah, and the parents do everything right in the family, and the children don't honor their parents, Hashem says just the opposite. He says, since they don't honor their parents, they can't honor me, and it's good that I'm not amongst them. This is a very
So
big...
it's not only
Go ahead.
it's not only the parents honoring their parents and fearing them, it's the children in the home honoring and fearing their
In
parents.
general, correct. Every single person has an obligation to honor his mother and his father. Every single person. Not to only honor them, but you also have to fear them.
Fear them in what sense, Rabbi? That's
Sense of awe. Not you shaking when you see them. Respect. When they walk
Right.
in, you get up. You don't sit on their seat. You don't stand on their seat. You don't speak when they're speaking. You ask them for permission before you open your mouth. Where do you see this today? Where do you see this today? Rabbi.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Ask permission to speak?
Yeah, if they're if you are in their presence, yes.
Correct your parent.
You don't do that when your father's around?
To ask permission to speak?
No, you say, Pops, can I say something? You don't say that?
No, in general, Leo, if you want to speak before your parents, you're sitting in the room or you're in the, you want to say something, you got to say, Mom, Pop, you give me permission. Can you give me permission to speak? You got to take
hold
the
on.
permission.
So I
That's
have
almost
a little
not
bit of
done nowhere, Rabbi.
I have a little bit of an issue. My mother, she is a storyteller. She's an amazing storyteller. I am too. So her and I,
100%.
sometimes we get wild up in saying a story during Shabbat.
You forget
And
you
it's not that I
talking.
not that I correct her, I add to her story while she's speaking. What is that? That's wrong of me?
100%. You're never allowed to correct your parents.
No. I see what you're saying.
No,
No,
you don't
I
gotta
don't
start
correct
it,
her.
you gotta-
Say that your
You're
point of
not
view.
allowed to correct your parents.
Yo,
No, I add to the story.
Ruben, do you curse in
Wow.
front of your parents or no? Do you curse?
My family are very big cursors. I mean, we curse a lot.
Okay, well, I can't curse in front of my father. It's automatic for me. For me, it's like forget it.
Yeah, I cannot even say I can ask that today.
Yeah, I don't even speak. When my father's around, I'm chill. Like, I don't talk too much.
No, I'm talking about today's kids. My kids today will freely like throw a curse word. It doesn't exist
No,
today's
my kids over here. You see, Ellie.
The
honor
generation is
father,
way
mother.
shifted.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
what happens if you're having a conversation in general, no matter what happens, if you say black, your dad says white, but you know it's black. And
Do it in private, maybe. Do it in private.
Then make it white.
What do you mean?
I don't know
Then
what I
make
mean.
it what?
I make it very simple. If your father says something, for example, if your father says the last night's game, I'm just giving you an example, was 69 to 73, you don't got to sit there. No, it's 70 to 73. Okay, big deal, 69, big deal. It's not changing nothing in halakha, you understand? Even in halakha, we're not allowed to correct our parents. You have to say, Dad, with respect, you remember, we know it was taught over there, and like he has to come to it himself. But you could never correct your parents. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I can
Leo,
hear
you're on mute.
Leo, I cannot hear you.
Especially if you're in public, correct, Rabbi?
In public,
Especially.
private does not matter. And I'll tell you where this applies very much. And it's very unfortunate today we have to see this, or at least I see it.
This also applies with in-laws, right?
100%. Elon, can we
Oh,
not
in-laws
pick
as
on
well?
in-laws?
Wait, with in-laws too?
I didn't know that. That I didn't know.
Well, now you know.
I'm even more respectful with in-laws.
In-laws have the same. In-laws have the
Yeah, but
same laws
sometimes
as
you kinda
parents.
come up
They have
and
the
try to
same
say
laws as
something.
parents. You're honoring your in-laws because they gave you your daughter. I mean, their daughter, your wife. So yeah, so you gotta honor your in-laws. So I was trying to say that today you have this problem where daughter-in-laws unfortunately don't know how to keep their mouth shut in front of
That's
their
true, Rabbi. It's so true, Rabbi.
Like
It's so
Jigari's not
fucking
gonna
true.
say anything, because he knows this is being recorded, but I will say it. They gotta know. They have to know their place. They have to know when to attack the husband, when not to attack the husband. As simple as that. By them attacking the husband, they're not respecting their in-laws. They're showing that their husband doesn't do anything. You want to say something, do it in private. Not the whole world. The whole world doesn't have to know. So really,
Why can't our wives be into this lecture when you're talking about this?
so why don't you go educate you?
Don't worry, we're going to send you a version. You go ahead and share
You
it.
gotta send it to them, exactly. You can clip it.
Yeah, oh, actually, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
If you want to ask Ruben to send it on your behalf.
I'll add them to the WhatsApp broadcast messages.
So Rabotai,
But I agree with this.
I want to share with you. So this is where there's a sefer also called Piskei Teshuvot, where he brings down over there a lot of laws when it comes to honoring our parents. You could have a person, you could have a boy, he sits and learns Torah, but when he comes home, he doesn't respect his parents. I'm not going to tell you his story doesn't mean anything, but bottom line, Hashem is not there. Hashem, the Shekhinah, does not rest in a family where kids are not respecting their parent. So if you want to know if you have the Shekhinah in your house, you have to see, do your children honestly honor you or respect you? That's what you have to look at. If your children don't respect you, that means you don't have, the Shekhinah is not resting in your family. And then we wonder
What
why
is
we have all these
Shekhin,
problems.
Rabbi? What is Shekhin? What is that?
Shekhinah means Hashem, Hashem's presence. Joey, welcome. Whenever you have Hashem's presence, it's much easier in life.
That's very true, Rabbi. It's very true. When you have Hashem in your life,
Sometimes
it's very
people
easy.
don't understand. What does that mean, Rabbi? How does Hashem's presence rest in my family? Very simple. Let's take. You have lighting in the house, correct? Now that light is able to give light to the whole room, correct?
Yeah.
What happens if I bring that light closer to myself? I'll have more light. Bring it a little bit more close. You have more light. The more Hashem is in your life, the more light you have in your life.
Amen.
Jigari, are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm shocked that I can't, that
you can't.
changes my whole landscape to
Correct.
our Shabbat laughs, dinners, and stuff like that.
You could listen, you could laugh, you can joke, but you cannot correct your mother. You're not allowed to correct your mother or your father.
I correct you, right?
Wait,
Right,
Rabbi. Can
right.
I question it but not correct it?
No, chas v'shalom.
That means I've been,
When you say question, let me ask you. When you say question, what do you mean question?
You got to repeat after me.
Are you sure Are you sure the light was green?
Listen, now you're doubting your father. No, I don't think you're allowed to. From what I understand, I don't think you're allowed to make your father feel, chas v'shalom, not smart.
Okay. But I don't do that anyways. You do that? I don't do that anyways.
Did I correct
No, so
you,
a lot of
Papa?
times when we're sitting in shul, so you know my father, correct? He says, So people say, Rabbi, is your father saying the correct halacha? If Ilan, you paid attention, never once do I correct him. But he says whatever he has to say. What am I supposed to do? You understand? What am I supposed to do? This is my father. This is my father. I love my father.
we all love your father.
We don't understand what does it mean to have parents. Without them, we would not have an existence. We would not be on our feet. Today you have young Thundercats. They think they know it all. They think they made a few dollars and they're living their life. The Shulchan Aruch Paskins, Ilan. If you're driving a Bentley, Leo, what car are you driving?
Maybach.
Your father has to drive.
I've been waiting for someone to ask that question.
He asked the question. What do you want me to do? I didn't say anything.
Leo, they say the way you drive your car, you have to make sure your father is taken care of on that level to somewhat that level. You can't be driving a nice car and he's driving a Toyota. That you cannot do. You have to make sure your father's taken care of.
I pay for my father's car, Rabbi. I pay for my father's car.
Nice.
I bought my father's last 3 cars.
Beautiful. That's very nice.
Rabbi,
Better than a Maybach?
Rabbi,
No, it was like a Mercedes.
That's also
what
good.
about for those that don't have the greatest of relationships
What about it?
with their parents? Like, let's say they're good with one parent, not the second parent, and then they go ahead and they just don't mesh or click. Or the parent gets along with one sibling over another.
Unfortunately, this is where the children are going to have to break themselves and still give that honor to the parents. That's it. It's nothing.
I do the same thing. Rabbi, I'm not the best with my father, my mother, but I'm good. I'm all right. Like 7, 8, but I'm not like 10. I still do it.
You know, he says over here, I want to read for Elon. Listen to what he says over here. He says over here in Halacha Gimel, he says, up to what does it mean to have respect? How do you respect your parents? To what extent do you have to have awe? He says, imagine if you were sitting, in a high place with nice clothing, like the head of the congregation, and your father and your mother came and they ripped up your clothing and they hit you on your head and they spit in your face. What are you supposed to do? You got it? Be quiet.
Can't do anything.
Can't do nothing. You can do nothing. These are your parents. Parents are equal to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That's crazy.
That's why when we come to the Ten Commandments, the parents are on the side of Hashem. Kabet is the fifth commandment on the side where the mitzvah are between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You upset your parents, you upsetting Hashem. That's why, Rabotai, if you pay close attention, the Pitzkei Teshuvah brings something beautiful. If you pay attention to Yishmaelim correctly, let's say from Esav it came out. Esav, today you see all the Arabs are very rich. What did Esav do? He didn't keep the Torah, Jigarik. He didn't keep the Torah, what did he do? But he honored his father like nobody.
Yeah.
So comes the Pitkei Teshuvah, I forgot the name of the rabbi, he says over there, if you don't ever put on tefillin, never keep Shabbat, never do anything in your life, and you respect your parents, you guaranteed to be successful in this world.
Wait, Rabbi, so hold on a second. So my father is gone.
Jigari, what are you driving?
Me?
Answer the question. What are you driving?
A simple SUV.
Shut up!
Wait, Rabbi, hold on.
He's humble.
My father is gone. How do I rectify?
So there's the halach in the Shulchan Aruch brings down that you have to go to the graveyard, to the cemetery, take off your shoes a few steps before the cemetery, take a few guys with you, and you have to ask him for forgiveness. There's a sentence you have to say, asking for forgiveness. But we need to realize that honoring our parents, Reuven, is not only while they're alive, it's even more after they die because they can't do nothing now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it says, bara mizaket av. V'lo av mizaket bara. It says a son is able to merit, he's able to give merit to the father. But a father is not able to help out the son. Why? Since because of the father you're able to do mitzvot and learn Torah, that's why your merits go to him. So you have a high obligation to honor your parents when they're not alive. Because every mitzvah you do picks them up in Olam Haba. I want to share with you, there's another halacha that's brought down by Rabbi Yitzchak Yaakov Focus, I don't know the last name. He says over here, a lot of times you have children, when you ask them to do something, Elon, Israel, how do they do it? They make you that face, as if they're doing you a favor, correct? And Rabotai, I'm telling you, I see this a lot in more people that are learning. They have to understand, this needs to be taught to children. You're learning Torah, you're keeping Shabbat, you're doing everything right in the eyes of Hashem. But if you don't honor your parents, there's no Hashem. What are you, exactly who you're honoring? So he says over here, Kibud ave'em enu b'maseh bilvad. It's not only with actions, ela av b'dibur u'machshava. Even with speech and thought. You gotta think good of your parents no matter what. You gotta speak highly of your parents. וכל מה שאומרים ועושים לכבוד ההורים, יש לומר ולעשות בסבר פנים יפות ובשמחה. Whenever you're doing anything for your parents, you must do it with a happy face and with a lot of happiness. You can't show your parents, you want me to throw out the garbage again? Me again? That's a very big problem, Rabotai. He says over here also, when you're speaking with your parents, you gotta speak slowly with them, pleasantly, in an honorable way, as if you're speaking in front of the king. Even if your parents are not known as to be important people in the society, in your eyes, you have to speak to them as they're the king and queen. Listen to this, Jigari. V'asur likpos uledeber beterem simu hahorim et divrhem. You're not allowed to cut off your parents while they're speaking. Let them finish. And when you're in front of them, when you're in front of your parents, You're not allowed to speak in public without first asking their permission. You know the crazy part is Jigarik. You know you go, Leo. You remember Leo when my father had the case? It was you and this Ashkenazi lawyer. You remember that case? The whole time you had that.
I mean, people don't know. You can tell them about it, Rabbi. I mean, not a lot of people know I used to represent you and your father.
Yeah, Leo actually helped us out. Me and my father actually.
Nah, that story goes deep.
Yeah. Baruch Hashem. We had a Spanish guy. Very appreciative. He sued my father. It's crazy. Anyway, Leo, you remember?
Well, that's because I keep my confidentiality between my clients.
No, I hear, but you know when we were there, Jigari, it was Leo and an Ashkenazi lawyer. You know the whole time how they were speaking to this counselor? Your Honor. You remember? Counselor. You remember? Everything was with kavod. What kavod? Who is this guy? I don't even know who he was. But
Rabbi,
listen, we gotta... Go ahead.
I wanted just to say, on behalf of Ruben, he's probably the only friend of mine that anytime that, because me and Ruben hanged out a lot together, you know, throughout the years. Anytime his parents would call, the way he would answer his parents would be I never seen anybody respect their parents the way Ruben does. The way he's like, Mamichka, Papichka, everything. He was always with the utmost respect. And honestly, I've seen it with my own eyes. And trust me, Ruben, your father's very proud of you.
Yeah, Ruben. I don't know if you need to go to the cemetery and take off your shoes, you know what I mean? And gather up the boys. I think...
No, we definitely have to.
Al, you don't agree with everything?
Even though we all stood, no matter what.
These guys are going to be the judges up there, next level, son. Notary department.
Wait, I want to ask a question.
Rabbi,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I'm a dad. I would want that to be, to me too. You know what I mean? Like everything that the rabbi was saying, I think it's fair. I think it's unfair. I don't think that's unfair because we're dads. We're also dads,
Correct.
We want to be honored, no?
Correct. The children need to know their place.
Yeah,
the children need to know their place. Unfortunately, today you don't have that. Not every, but a lot of children today don't really recognize, they don't really understand what parents mean. They think they were born, they came out, they start walking like animals. You know not the stipler. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says, why when animals are born, they're on their four legs and they're moving already. But when people are born, it takes time. It takes time until the baby starts walking. You gotta feed him. But taking animals, you gotta take a sheep, a cow, a dog, I don't know. On his four legs, he's up and moving. What's going on? Why can't Hashem make us the same way? You hear, Jigari? So he says over there, because when it comes to children, when it comes to people, it's training. You gotta start training your children from day one when they're still young. What does it mean to say barachot? What does it mean to honor your mother and your father? You understand? Everything starts from day one. It's the way you plant the tree and you grow it and you water it, that's how it's gonna grow. If it start going crooked, you gotta straighten it out. But if you don't straighten them when they're young, it's very hard to straighten them once they get older.
Rabbi, I just want to say thank you. I got to run now and honor my parents because I got to help them out.
No, you got to go, Avi. Go.
Very, very, very deep subject. I can't even explain it. God bless you guys all.
Rabbi, I have a question. Who trumps? The wife or the parents, Rabbi?
Say it again.
Who trumps who? Ooh. The wife or the parents? Because the wife sometimes, you know what I mean? That's the question, or is that not the topic?
No. So it's very... Listen, if you're speaking from the men's side or the girl's side?
Men.
Okay. Meaning what? Who does she have to honor or who do you have to honor?
Well, what if this never happened to me. I'm just saying I had other people. Like, what if the wife don't want the dad or the mom to come around? Like, what happens then?
That's a big problem.
Right.
That's a big problem. Yeah. You're not allowed to cause your parents to interfere in your shalom bayit.
Generational issue, Rabbi.
Listen, you're not allowed. I can't give an answer for that, but you gotta always try to stick with your wife and at the same time make your parents happy. Right. As men, we have an obligation to honor our parents. Women don't have an obligation to honor their parents unless that their husbands give them that permission. For example, the father calls my wife. Let's say the father calls the daughter-in-law, and he says, say my father-in-law calls my wife, and he says, I need you to come over. I need you to cook something for me. And I said, Jigari, for example, I don't want you to go. She has no permission to go. That's how it works. She has no permission to go. Again, I'm not going to do that.
That's her honoring you.
Correct. Because she has her obligations to me. Correct. But when it comes to me, let's say if my father asks... Say it again?
It's on you to respect your parents.
Yeah, but I'm speaking
not on her.
Correct. But now let's say the other way around. What happens if my father asks me something and my wife asks me something? I have to try to see to it where I'm going to be able to satisfy both of their opinions. But if parents are causing, problems in the mishpacha, unfortunately, you gotta let them know nicely. Listen, you can't come between me and my wife. You can't, they just cannot. Because it just cannot.
So, I'm Rabbi.
Yeah.
You got today grandparents coming in and they got always like a favorite grandkid.
Correct.
Right? And you're sitting in a room with the family, you get one is favorite, you get the other ones are complaining, and do you call out your parent on it?
No. What they're doing, they shouldn't do what they're doing because they're not educating them correctly. Because if you're saying something's not allowed and they're saying allowed, but you cannot call them out on it. No, you cannot call them out on it.
So, but that makes it hard for you to honor them.
No, but you don't call them out. You just gotta educate.
It corrupts the upbringing.
You gotta educate the children that when Abba and Iba speak, this is how it's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Again, this subject, you have to look at the subject with everybody's own two eyes. You can't apply every situation to every situation. No, everything has to be
case by case.
Case by case. It's not so partial, If you the Pitchit Shur brings down, what about having your parents live with you? Today you have a lot of children, they put their parents in the nursing home. You can't do that. You can't just throw your parents in the nursing home just like that. If they're going to live with you and they're not going to make your life gehenom, you got to try to make sure that they live with you. You got to take care of them. But if you see that they're interfering and your wife can't take it and it's causing be'emes shalom bayit problems, then listen, you have no other choice. But you guys have to remember...
Happens? You end up failing on the level of honoring your parents.
You can't overlook your wife or your parents.
That you cannot do. You did all this up until now, and then you just go in and put them in a nursing home because you have family issues.
If they're causing if they're the problem, if the parents are the problem, there's nothing we can do. I'm not dishonoring them. They're not allowing me to work with them. But you guys have to remember, Leo, I want to tell you something, Leo.
On this topic. I think you got to build on it by tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. There's much more that could be said.
Not suggesting, of course, with the rabbi's permission.
Leo, I want to tell you like this. When a wife speaks like that, she doesn't want her parents over. She has to remember one day she's also going to be a parent. She's also going to be an in-law tomorrow one day. She's also not going to be wanted. You understand? It's going to be measure for measure. So therefore, whenever we do something, I tell you like this, whenever we do something, you have to ask yourself, what if it was me in that situation? Yeah, sometimes you don't want your in-laws over. No, you don't. Sometimes you don't want your siblings over. But bottom line is, they're your parents and they're your siblings. How would you feel if your own children did that to each other or to you? How would you feel? So really it comes down, case by case. It's not so simple. This case not so simple. But what I did want to bring down today is if we want to have Shekhin, if we want to have Hashem in our lives, we got to try to honor our parents and, show them the proper respect. Not after they die also, but not, today after people die, they make Yeshua in big restaurants and they give out gifts and they start saying, oh, my parents were the best. Rabotai, when people are alive, that's when you have to praise them. When people are alive, thank them. When people are alive, spend time with them. Not after they die, you understand? So there is just the opposite. We have no time for our parents. We have no time for nobody, not ourselves, not our family. And then chas v'shalom, something happens and then we wake up. Well, that's just too late then, chas v'shalom.
Powerful.
Hi, my G.
Okay, boys.
Thank you, Rabbi.
No problem, guys. I'll see you.
Thank you, Rabbi John.
I'll see you,
Thank you, Rabbi.
Ilan, Israel, Leo. I'll see you guys. Hanan, I'll see you.
Ciao, Rabbi. Ciao.
Thank you, Rabbi.
No problem, boys.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye,
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye, Jiggy.
Bye, Rabbi.